Cybernation Uncensored.
And we are live. At least I hope we are. Hello, everyone. How's it going? Let us know. Let's do a little hello testing.
Hello, everyone.
Let us know if you can hear everything clearly. Hopefully you can. But hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Power Word Talk, where we have introspective discussions with phenomenal writers, artists, and creators to discuss their personal journeys and their amazing work that leaves a positive impact on our community. I'm your host, Utahime, and before we chat with our magnificent guest with us today, I have a few little brief shout outs as per usual. I am community manager and producer here at Cybernation Uncensored, and we have a wonderful, wonderful community that we would love for you guys to join and be a part of. So I have the links in chat for our Discord. Also, too, we love all of the support you guys give us on our various social medias. If you're not following us already, we're pretty much everywhere, including YouTube, and we have our podcast as well. So we definitely appreciate all of those likes and shares that we see all the time. The support means a lot to us. Also, too, we want to shout out our official sponsors, which includes Sirenscape, Fantasy Grounds, Studio Agate, Modifius Entertainment, Lion Banner, and Lake Battle Maps. But last but not least, we gotta do a huge thank you to our Patreon subscribers as well for all of the amazing support. Seriously, you guys allow us to continue to put out amazing content on a weekly basis. So we couldn't do that without the support from you guys. So thank you so much. As per usual, I see some people joining. Hello, Wookie. Hello, Crafty. Welcome in. I will be watching chat on the side. So if you have any questions or comments, I'll probably be sprinkling those in for our guests today. But let's just get right into it, because I've done enough talking. You didn't come here for me. You came here for our awesome guest, Matt. I had the pleasure of actually playing with Matt in a mini campaign for Coyote and Crow over on Creators Assemble. And I'm also, too, I don't know if you've noticed, I just so happen to be rocking some fabulous swag from their shop, Gemmed Firefly. So let me just pass it over to you. Do you mind telling the viewers who don't know, but now they should know, who you are, your pronouns, and just a little bit about yourself before we just hop on into the discussion?
That game was my pleasure as well, because you were fantastic in it. I still think of all those scenes where you and I had, and
oh my
just
goodness,
staring at everybody was so fun.
So much fun. We did it was like the good, well, I don't know, is it bad cop, bad cop?
Kind of, yeah, it really sort of was. Because in the end, it's like you weren't sure which one was worse. But
I know, but that was the best part, especially when with the doctor we had to go look for a cat that didn't exist, but maybe it did.
Excellent.
Who knows?
Well, I mean, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I'm Matt. You may know me as Dungeon Glitch from Twitter, or really anywhere that I just kind of pop up. Yeah, as mentioned, I own Gemmed Firefly. If you like nerdy t-shirts or mugs and stuff like this, go to gemmedfirefly.com, and that's basically my outlet for my artistic rage.
Yes. Now, as you already mentioned a few of these things that, obviously you have your fashion merch line, you're a musician, which I don't know if you guys remember, at the beginning of Power Word Talk, a little ways back, some episodes ago, I was playing Dungeon Glitch's albums on stream. We did have a few little flags from YouTube, because YouTube they're so picky that if anything sounds even remotely alike, they flag things. So we just didn't want to run into any issues. But I listen to it still when I'm working on different projects. You also you're an author and an artist and pro DM.
Yep.
Just so many different things across the board, so many talents. So I need to know, what came first? Was it ttrpgs? Was it your music? Just kind of explaining that journey and kind of how everything started merging together.
Yeah. So for me, D&D came first. I got into role-playing. It was kind of like a helpful therapeutic escape when I needed it the most. As a kid, it was like I grew up kind of like off and on homeless, and we found the books, and I was playing it more or less with ex-cons and gang
Oh
members.
wow.
So
Okay.
so we're playing it to stay out of trouble, and it was a
Hmm.
lot of fun. And it ended up being very helpful. And then from there, I kind of like got out of that scene. Not a lot of us survived it, but we did, and some of
Yeah.
us did. And then I played it after college for a little bit, and then I put it on hold for a really long time, and I realized everything kind of sucked without it. So I was like, I'm just gonna put everything aside because in 2020 I was just angry at the world, and it's like if I don't find something that I enjoy,
Yeah.
if I don't put my energy into something that I love, then I'm gonna fall apart. And that's when I just decided it's like, yeah, ttrpg or bust, and
Mm.
that's when I just went all in.
That's
So yeah.
amazing. And then basically from that, that kind of led to you also too, where you were writing different adventures and getting more involved in the scene that way. How did that process come about?
It took me a long time to get to the point where I was publishing
Mm.
anything. I have to credit FIG, the Foundation for Inclusivity in Gaming, which I don't think
Amazing.
exists anymore, but um, it was helping a lot of people of color produce
Mm.
content. And once I had gone through the process, I learned that I didn't need to be afraid of it. And so I went out and I just started making my own. And now I am, I think, still in the top 5 bestsellers on DM's Guild.
Ooh.
I was number one
Ow,
for
ow.
the entire summer, and
That's
now it's like
amazing.
wild. So it
That
was a lot of fun.
is, yes. And then you're also too you're into obviously graphic design and
Oh yeah.
that side of things. Was that also too something that growing up you just kind of had an artistic talent?
Yeah, I fell in love with comic books, and I was just like, I want to make something like that. And yeah, I was always drawing, and
Yeah.
I was good at photography at the time, and yeah, I just it drawing was one of the first things I realized where it was like you have to practice these
Hmm.
skills, you have to actually do it, and to
For sure.
do that you have to do it the hard way. It's like you have to learn anatomy. It's like no one wants to do that. It's like I gotta draw something ugly before I can draw something good.
Is that why my stick
No.
figures, had like really big heads? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, mine still do. So, but yeah, with art, I was in these art classes with some people that were just
Mhm.
geniuses at it. They were just they could see it and they could just make it. And I'm just doing it the hard way. I'm just like, okay, so this little diagram here, an ear should go at this level. Is that what you're telling me? So I just, years of that, it just sort of turned
Yeah.
into seeing the mechanics of it. It's like with writing. I was in journalism for a while, and when you're doing like articles,
Yeah.
they're mechanical. It's not. There's no creative writing about it. It's like you have to talk about when it happened, where it happened, because otherwise it's not news. And it's
Yeah.
like you got to do it in those, and the rest just kind of like writes itself. So it's all chemistry, and then
Yeah.
it's like, being okay with failing
More of a
a lot.
formula to it for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, you mentioned comic books. So, were there specific fandoms or specific comic books that really, really influenced you or in your art?
I am an X-Men fan through and through.
Yes, I love
X-Men,
X Men so much.
number one. X-Men. I'm still reading it.
Now I know why I was drawn to it, but I'm curious why that was just like for you the comic book series that you connected with the most.
I I think it's because I think it did exactly what it was supposed to do,
Hmm.
and like X-Men is supposed to be about uh, oppressed people
Yeah.
doing the thing, and watching it, like I kind of relate to that, but I didn't know why I was. I'm like, okay, these guys are underdogs. Everyone hates them. I'm with it. And,
Yeah.
but like I'll go and I'll see the Avengers, and it's like everyone loves them. Captain America, everyone's great. Billionaire Tony Stark. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if it's
Like
as
Bruce
relatable.
Wayne.
Yeah, I know for Superman, I definitely was like he was just so perfect that I was just like
Yeah,
I go for the kind of flawed and more complex.
yeah. Like, give
Usually,
me,
not
yeah.
no knock against it, like because I know we probably have some fans. I don't want to have people mad at me for saying that, but
They can be mad
I
at me
get what you're
then. It's
saying.
like, yeah. It's like yeah, give me Iceman, who Bobby Drake, who struggles with his
Yeah.
entire identity of being a mutant and then assuming his sexuality. Give me that. I'll hang out with
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
That's cool.
For
It took a
sure.
long time for them to start adding depth to Kal El, you
Yeah.
know. So
Were there any other fandoms as well that really
um,
growing up just kind of stuck with you?
oh boy. Let me see. A lot of from like video games and stuff like that. Like I have Mass Effect and uh,
Yes.
yeah, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure there's a ton, but I'm just blanking on because my
No, no,
anxiety
no,
does
no.
that.
I mean,
So
no, that totally. I mean, X-Men and Mass Effect also like two both great fandoms, and there's
uh,
also a Mass Effect TTRPG, which I don't know. Have you had a chance to play that?
I haven't played it yet. No, I would love to though.
I've heard great things, but that's okay.
Oh,
That's one on the list of games that we have to play
yeah,
then.
yeah. Just give me a Krogan, and we're gonna be fine.
Now, kind of going into it as far as you are a proud mixed native, and I can definitely identify with that as well. How did that, because you grew up, you're a Boston native as well.
Yeah, yeah. It's weird.
So how did that kind of impact as far as just like that connection with your culture, kind of when it comes to your work and your art, but also too in an area where I don't necessarily know many Boston
Yeah,
natives.
there. Yeah, you know what? I'm from here, and I don't either.
Yeah,
We
I
used to
don't think I
do
have.
these powwows. We would go down to Rhode Island to do it,
Okay.
and we would do it like once a month. When I was growing up, it was
Oh, and please mention to everyone your
yeah.
tribe
I'm
affiliation.
I'm Mohawk, so it's a Ganingahaga to represent. But
Yay.
I'm not like I think due to blood quantum, I'm not official anymore. So it's
Gotcha.
weird. I have this strange attachment to the culture because I grew up in it, and I didn't
Right.
know that you could potentially not be included. So that
Yeah.
was something I struggled with in my identity
Hmm.
uh, in middle age because I'm like 38 now, and that's something like
I had no
when I was
idea.
yeah
I'm
when I'm
like,
30 now, it's like when I was 30, it's like I wanted to dip more back into it, and they're like,
yeah.
no. I'm like, like, well, they said no. I guess that's it. It's like, no, okay, we're gonna see what we can do about this. And I was like, I know the culture. I grew up in it,
Right.
and it's so difficult. And yeah, 'cause my grandmother was like a teacher of
Okay.
the culture,
Wow,
so
that's
like I
amazing.
know so much about it, and I love
Yeah,
it.
you grew up. That's literally growing up, surrounded
Yeah,
around it.
and then yeah, it's so weird. And at the same time, it's like I'm mixed in general. Like I'm Asian as well,
Hmm.
Hawaiian, and it's so strange because like people look at you and like they have no idea.
Yeah,
It's always
no,
that there's always that
we
weird
never do.
question.
Wait, what are you? That's my
Yeah,
favorite question because you just are like human. I'm a
yeah,
human
you
being.
know, and like everyone wants to like I understand like that it can be an offensive question, but at this point to me it's almost a sport
Oh yes.
because it's like I'm like, what do you think I
It's like, let's see if you
am?
can guess.
And I get like the weirdest responses, and I kind of enjoy them. Like I was I was dating a woman, and she waited like 3 dates to ask me, and I'm just like, what do you think? And she goes, I don't know, Himalayan or something. I'm like, that's a cool answer. I like that a lot.
Like, sure, let's add that to the list. No, that's the famous game. I think that a lot of us who are mixed, we love kind of see what people come
Where
up
are
with.
your parents from?
Yes,
Yep.
and the way that people kind of like now they're trying to politely skirt around what they really want to know. But
Yep.
yeah, that's always fun. Uh,
Yeah.
but do you feel like now, now that as you mentioned, you were like, kind of reconnecting as you got older. Do you feel like you've now kind of been speaking out more about it and kind of the complexity of the fact that it's a lot of people have been experiencing where it's like you're not this enough or you're not that enough,
Yeah.
and I feel like I've seen where you've kind of talked and shared about that on online and
Yeah.
on your social media before.
Well, the I don't know the experience of being just like mixed
Hmm.
is interesting to me, and it's something that I'm kind of drawing more passion into
Yeah.
and helping people with because um, the more people I speak to that have it, there's so many like random self-esteem issues. They don't
Mm-hmm.
they don't feel they belong places. In cases where it's like you're shunned from
Yeah.
the cultures, you don't have them. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you're telling me like a quarter of my genes are blank.
Yeah.
Is that and it's difficult too because when people want to belong to these cultures and
Yeah.
they feel like they're worthless because they can't connect to it, or like say you are part of a culture but you didn't grow up in it, how do you relate to it? Do you have the
Yes.
right to relate to it? And the answer is yes, you should. It's not always going to be going to be easy. um like me, I just became certified as a first American sensitivity writer, and that's the term they use for Native Americans now,
Oh
as I'm
wow. Yeah.
told. Because it's everything's just a touchy topic. Everyone wants to be super careful. A lot of people want to be respectful. At the same time, some people are just trying to be real, and it's
Mm-hmm.
finding a balance
For
in the
sure.
purpose and being respectful. And when you're outside of that, I find like one superpower when you're mixed though is you have the ability to criticize the cultures you're a part of. It's like I'm allowed to say this.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, right. I forgot." You're like, "Yep." Yep.
Yeah. So if you're mixed and you're struggling with it, just understand that being mixed in itself
Yep.
is a culture.
Yes.
Like
Mm-hmm.
existing outside of that is a valid experience, and there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of power in there if you
Yes.
just recognize yourself. And then you look around and you see there's so many other mixed people that are in the same
Mm-hmm.
boat.
Yeah.
You are not alone at all.
No,
So
not in the slightest. And I really love you sharing that because I feel like it did take, I'm in my 30s and it took years for me to kind of find that self acceptance and also, too, to not feel like I had to just be attached to just one of the cultures that I'm mixed with, but also being like, no, it's a beautiful thing to be,
yeah,
to basically have all of these different cultures that are part of you. It's a really wonderful thing, and I love that you kind of do bring that up, and I think that a lot of people really, I know for one definitely it motivated me for sure to just even be more proud of it. So
yeah.
thank you for that. I also too, because I had no idea. You mentioned that you experienced homelessness and that whole
Oh
situation,
yeah.
and as far as just like obstacles, especially as a creator, that can be very tough, especially because sometimes the environment that you're in, some people get very discouraged. It's how do you address those obstacles when you face them and overcome them ultimately, especially as a creative, because I feel like creatives, you have to be in a certain mindset to kind of
Yeah.
be more artistic and to do all these different things, and you do a lot.
I think about it because when you're in it, you know, it's miserable.
Yeah.
You're dealing with stuff. It's not great. But you do develop that survivor mentality, and you try to be a good. If you're trying to be a good person, it makes it almost harder
Yep.
because you don't have a lot of examples of it around you. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm currently a victim of capitalism, but
Yeah.
you sort of if you can find the strength and the motivation and the will to do what you need to do. Like I went to school. I was homeless this time. I was living in a truck, but it wasn't the worst. It was kind of a game. I'm like I have no choice but to do this.
Yeah.
And looking back on when I was like partially homeless in like high school,
Yeah.
that was actually like some of the best memories I have because like
Oh
some of the people
wow. Okay.
that I was playing D&D with and stuff, it was like we lived outside the rules of a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
and we could get into random adventures and stuff like that. And like I think about it like as a writer, as a storyteller, a lot of times if you're writing something and you have like a kid as a main character,
Yeah.
you have to separate them from their parents for their adventure to start. It's one of the first
Yeah.
things that has to happen. They need to be on their own.
Mm-hmm.
I was an adventure protagonist that whole time.
Like you were living it.
Yeah. So like I have no shortage of stories from that now, but it's
Yeah.
it's it's interesting too because like I don't know, you develop this confidence that you can get through stuff. That'll help a lot. Even though I still have ridiculous anxiety over silly things because that's just how I am. But I'm super shy still, and it's fun. It's like you just kind of go through it because, like, yeah,
Yeah.
well, life's just gonna keep happening, and that's why I'm always, I don't know, working on so many different things because it's like, well, I'm gonna do what I want, and hopefully
Yep.
it'll make some money because why not?
For
Because I don't want to
sure.
be that again. So,
It's like that extra motivation, like determination that pushes you to
yeah,
put out more content and do these different things because you think of how far you've come for sure.
yeah, it's developed an active anxiety in me where it's like I have to constantly work, for better or for worse. That's what I have. That's why I produce so much because I don't know how to sit still.
I feel like that's a common thread with a lot of creators in general. It's just sitting still. It's just you feel like something's missing.
Yeah,
You gotta get back at it.
I mean, you're technically working right now,
Yeah,
so.
that's true. That is true. And just going into the fact that you're writing and the inspiration behind that. So you have a wonderful book. I'm gonna go ahead and switch it over so that way some people can see some of the cool little images, some awesome photos, including some boss headshots of you. But also too, you have. I believe it's 2 volumes of it, of your
Yeah,
entitled 101 Story Questions for World Building.
yeah,
Now, I want you to explain the inspiration for writing this book and some of the advice, I guess, that people can find as a DM or a GM, as far as just working on building world lore of any
sure.
kind.
Yeah. So well, I'm on a podcast called The Ether Log with Sam Comerford, Christine Collar, Mark Akusha, and Tatomaki Lex, if you know them. And we were making a world from complete scratch, and it was just kind of like, all right, so what do we want to make? So I came up with a whole bunch of questions to try to inspire us to create this world, and then I ended up with the list, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to put this out. And I polished it up a whole bunch, added some art, made it pretty, formatted it, and all that stuff. But that's like about um, 65 of those questions in the first volume are what we were working with when we made the Ether Log. And yeah, it was really cool because I don't know, that's just something that I always, I come from like a journalism background, so
Yeah,
asking people questions and getting to deeper sections of things, or finding out things people like aren't thinking of but might enjoy
yeah.
working on. I don't know, instead of mutant power or just something I just do. It's just,
Talent.
yeah. So it's just like, yeah. So what if? So you have this character, right?
Hmm.
What is their address and what is their neighbor like?
Hmm.
And like, oh, I never thought about that. My character
Yep.
exists in this world. This world has I live somewhere,
Yeah.
and then that's how they get attached to their character a little more. And now we have a neighborhood. That's it. I mean, you just do these little things here.
Hmm.
Um, Straight up asking players, we need a location where monks like to fight when no one's looking. What does that look like? And suddenly you have a little fight club. It could be whatever. But
Underneath the monastery,
yeah,
underground fight club.
on top of the bars. Yeah, they fight on the rooftops. It could be anything. And like,
Yeah.
and when you let players run wild and have that freedom to do so, they also
Hmm.
get more and more attached to the world and keep them showing up and off their phones. So,
And that's interesting because in my head, sometimes you think, okay, you would be so focused as far as just like as a DM, where it's just you kind of coming up with all these things, but you're actually getting inspiration also from your players to add into the world, which is really interesting.
yeah, yeah. So, and as a DM, like secret, it makes the work a lot less. The burden is lightened when you have the players creating things for you, and all you have to do is connect the dots and be like, I know where I can use that. They won't see it coming, but and then when it comes up, they can feel that extra bit of gratitude because they created it and you made it work and you made
Yes.
it special, and that's how the memories get made, and that's what's important.
Logan says, "Let's go hunting dragon eggs." Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What now? What have you found is the main thing that I guess DM or GM kind of struggles with when it comes to um, building the world or creating a world that's interesting that keeps the players engaged.
I can't speak for all GMs. I
Or
know
like a
for
common
my
question, I guess you would be
yeah, yeah,
asked.
right. So one thing that I guess people have come to me before
Hmm.
about for it is, um, and this is like this is also my experience too, and it's I feel sometimes when GMs are
Yeah.
restricted to a campaign setting that they didn't write, they feel like they need to be respectful and accurate and all that stuff, and suddenly making the game is like walking on eggshells for the person who's running it,
That makes sense.
and
Hmm.
suddenly like you don't know what you can and can't do because you don't want a player to call you out on it, but you don't want to be wrong, but you want to be creative, and you feel like you have this creative freedom to do stuff, but you want to stay true to
Hmm.
the information. But like if you have a homebrew, then whatever you say goes, and it's like finding that balance,
Yeah.
or making all the rules to your homebrew too, where this is the history. We also got to stay true to that. It's being aware, giving yourself permission to make things up, and staying honest with your players
Hmm.
about it all. So
That's
convoluted, but
that's really good advice, and I feel like those are all things that in my head, why I have a certain anxiety about potentially running a game. It's that you kind of get in your head about these things, and really the way that you just kind of explained it, it just simplifies. Okay, hopefully we're back. It seemed like there was a glitch that was not caused by dungeon glitch. But we're back. Hopefully you can see us and hear us. Please let me know if there is any more issues. Hopefully we don't have any little blips, but we did blip back.
yeah.
So going back into the different ttrpg titles that are currently available, because there's a few I think on DM's Guild as well, adventures and one shots that you've written.
Yeah, I got the two one shots. They're on drive through.
Oh, drive through. I'm sorry. I'm
Yep.
sorry. It's the
No, no,
world it's the world building that's on DM's Guild.
yep, yeah. So the first one I did was for my Indonesian heritage, and it's about the helping out the goddess of death,
Ooh.
which is really fun. I thought that one was a lot of cool. It was interesting because it's really just like it's not even. It didn't start off as a puzzle.
Hmm.
When we originally wrote it, it was just going to be like, well, here's your moral quandary. Do you want to help the goddess of death or not? That's really what it's going to come down to. And like, if you do all these nice things. It demanded a little bit of suspense of belief,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
And I like that one a lot. But my favorite one is the one I did for. It's an Iroquois legend, for
Ooh.
exactly from my folk, my culture, and it's a murder mystery.
Ooh. I like
And
that.
I
They're
wanted
so
to I
fun.
want to say what it is, but it's a horror story too. Because like, but like if I reveal the monster, it's gonna be
Oh, obvious. Yes. Okay. We
oh,
don't. We're not gonna do any
it's
spoilers.
so fun though. I highly recommend it, especially if. I will say that there is a mechanic in the end where if you complete all the story points, you get an artifact that just summons the monster to your team
Oh no.
as you go. I'm like, you got to keep this. We got to do this.
Yeah, that's just too
Just let them
good.
have this. It's like if you get a critical on an attack, it's like a 50% chance this thing will just roll up.
Oh my goodness. And that has to be nerve wracking because it's just that chance of
Yeah, it's a
just
lot of fun.
fate. Boom, and there you
Hideous
go.
monster just flies down, descends, and attacks. Oh, I love
Oh,
it. So
that's
that was a lot of
amazing.
fun.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I got to do a lot more of those. I haven't written any one shots since, so I did supplements. That's where I'm at.
Supplements for now. Nice, but
Yeah,
maybe we get to see some more of the one shots in the future though. So that's really exciting.
yeah, yeah. You really handled that disconnect so much better than I would have. I'm still.
Oh no, I had a little alert pop up, and it was, it was so kind. It said your OBS is disconnected, and I'm like,
Ah,
oh, that's not good. That's not good. Okay, let's try to see. Waited a little bit. Nope. Okay, time to stop and start. But you just kind of roll with the punches. I feel like that's
yeah.
with technology, you never know. And streaming is kind of, sometimes it will go smoothly. And I know that people have this happen all the time, even during like the TTRPG streams, where you sometimes that may just happen, and you just figure it out
Yeah.
as you go.
No, I just admire your composure. You were just like, yep, fixing. It's like
Okay. I
I'm
I
sweating bullets.
appreciate
It's
it.
like,
I appreciate it. I just was like, I got to make sure that the people who are watching and who've been in chat don't miss out on more, hearing from you regarding your awesome journey. So that was the most important thing. My thing is like, we need to make sure that Matt is heard today. And going into the more swagalicious side of things, your brand, Jim Firefly, is fantastic, fabulous, and obviously, I have a few designs already, and so does my partner Andrew. Now, how did the brand Jim Firefly come about? And also, too, I want to know. There's always a meaning behind the name, so I want to know how that came about as well. The origin of the name.
so yeah, um, well, okay, so the company we made, it was me and two other friends to begin with, and we made it because it was the height of 2020, and
Hmm.
we were absolutely furious with the way that the world was. Um, so I just kind of like, what if I just make a bunch of angry memes and put them on shirts for fun? And it's like, and I was totally prepared for the whole thing to fail. I'm totally okay with everything not working out, but hey, at least I get to say for a minute I owned a t-shirt company. So we just kind of did it, and it survived long enough for me to have that existential crisis of, hey, I want to move into TTRPG, and that's like, what if I just make those too? So
Yeah.
like that's why if you go there, you will find that whole dungeon glitch D&D section,
Hmm.
but off the beaten path, there is that not safe for.
All right, we're back. I'm gonna finish this interview. It's the last thing I do. Okay, we're gonna do this. All right, we're back. Okay, we were talking about Matt's awesome merch line, Jim Firefly. We were talking about it, and it was made out of spite originally.
Spite's the word for it, yeah. Yep.
And then it turned into something fabulous and wonderful. And with the addition of TTRPG, uh, like shirts and such being added. Now, did we discuss what the name meant?
So the name, and I don't know if this is believable, but so it was me and two other friends, my friend Nos and my friend Kata, who some
Mm-hmm.
people know. Um, and so we're just kind of sitting around coming up with the random names, and I wanted something that was that sounded like luxury. So I was like, all right, well, because it was again, it was a meme to us the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, so gilded, no, gold, no, jewels, no, gemmed. That sounds awful. All right, we'll use that. And then it's like we just started like picking random animals and or mascots and stuff. And
Yeah.
my friend Nas had picked that one, and so we did a dice roll off for it, and that's what won, and that's what it was, and it had meaning at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and then Nas had other things to work on, so now it's just me and Kata, so we have her name in spirit, so it's fun.
Amazing. I love
Yeah.
that. I love the fact that it was like, oh, that's awful. That's the one. Again, kind of leaning hard into that made out of spite, like just like,
Yeah.
but it becomes
Yeah.
something beautiful and something that everyone appreciates for sure.
We were really trying to be like anti-capitalist for it, which is why
Yeah.
like we don't do. One, it's difficult to say. If I tell people what it is, they're like, what is this? And then it's like it's people read it and they can't pronounce it. They're like, Gemid, what is? And
You're like,
no.
no.
Yeah, and like I put it on business cards. Doesn't make sense. And like because it doesn't even look like it would be. How does this relate to T-shirts or anything like that? I just want
Yeah.
something random. It's totally random. It's not connected to ttrpg or anything. It's not even hate related for the anger that I had towards
Capitalists.
capitalism. So
Yes.
that's why it's ultimately it's a meme hobby project. All of our profits have gone to charities and all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun. We just do it.
I love that though. I love, and then also too the giving back. Kind of also too in that like
Yeah.
giving it to the capitalist.
Yeah, and the cool thing is like it being my brand, where I
Yeah.
am the brand. If I just think of something awful, like an offensive meme that is like anti-capitalist, I just put it on a T-shirt right now. You can buy it in 10 minutes. It's like,
Boom. There you
yeah,
go. So people, everyone in chat, if you need to get something off your chest in that way, be sure to add it here.
yeah. If it makes me laugh, I might make it if you want me to.
I love that. Logan said, Matt's stuff is amazing. I'm not wearing one right now, but I have the crying is a free action shirt and an angry socialist noise.
Our best shirt. Am I allowed to curse? Because that's what it is.
Yes, you are. Yeah. We're uncensored here, so it's
Awesome.
fine.
Yeah, our number one selling item to this day is still the fuck around and find out flag.
That is just chef's kiss. Just
Yeah,
amazing.
it's so that's what kind of like put us on the map. We put that out, and Reddit went nuts with it, and then it's I still get random hits. People post it on Reddit and they're like, hey, check this out. This is wild. And suddenly I'll see like a 10 go out the door. I'm like, awesome. So yeah,
That's
really cool.
That's fantastic. Now I absolutely just like I love your lo-fi albums, and you can so from like 10:30 until 4:30 at night, just Santa Ana Winds just said nope to all power, and then the power went on in the evening. So I have a feeling it's a little bit of that residual situation happening. So thank you, California Winds. You're really helping us out here, and I mean that sarcastically, not literally. No, that's yeah. So we're gonna do this. We are still live. I hope you guys are still with us. Thank you, everyone who's still in the chat. I appreciate you guys despite the connectivity issues. Yes, hello, Stink Palm. Welcome in. We've been having some like little connection issues. It's probably a result of the even though I've never heard of that before, moving to California where winds will mess your internet up and your power. But here we are. We're doing it though. We're doing it live. So we're gonna get back into it because I was just talking about your lo-fi albums, which you can find on Spotify. And now I want to know, as far as being a musician, was that a genre that you always knew you wanted to get into, or because I mean these are really wonderful beats, and they are very just like they keep you chill, relax, like kind of where I'm able to get into the zone when I'm working. A lot of people sometimes use them for streams, like I was doing previously. So I want to know kind of how you got more into the lo-fi versus maybe other genres.
So I originally like I was always kind of like into music, but I was never good at it. Like in high school, like I played guitar because it's like the thing to do, right? So,
it's the cool thing to do too if you are a guitarist.
I was bad at it. I was really bad at it. And then my wife's a musician. She plays violin. She's very good.
Oh, so
wow. And for when I'm working on all these projects, as I'm always working, a long time ago, I got into this program. I signed up for like the beta of this program called Focus on Demand or something like that. I have it saved somewhere. Mm-hmm. But it's instant focus music, and it's all scientifically crafted to help you focus on what it is that you're doing. And they give you like this little questionnaire of things to try to help you find things that match your mood. And then after listening to that for years, I kind of like figured out what my mood was. And then a friend of mine's kind of like, oh yeah, this is cool. It's kind of like lo-fi. I'm like, what's lo-fi? So he shows me it, and I'm like, oh, I love all of this. And that's when I kind of got into it. And again, I'm not great at music. I have no musical training. I don't understand music theory. I can't read music. But like he's like, yeah, and he pulls up like GarageBand, and shows me like, yeah, so you can make a beat if you just like take these drums and some of this, put some distortion on it. We'll put a little bit of raindrops on it, and he made a beat in front of me in like 8 minutes. I was like, well, I want to try that. So that's kind of where
amazing.
yeah. So yeah, if YouTube doesn't like some of my videos, some of my music, it's because I used some of the original sample drum beats that a lot of people use. That's all it is. Like, oh yeah, someone used that same drum beat. It's like, man, it's a drum beat.
It's like, come on, YouTube, get it together. No,
so,
that makes sense.
Yeah, so evolving on that, again, I'm getting a lot of help with all of it. And I had this magic keyboard that you just push a button and it would just make chords, and it didn't even matter what order you pushed them in, it would sound fantastic. And that's kind of like that's where a lot of the sound of my second album came from, and the third one I got a lot. The newest one, the Bardic College Dropout, is I got a lot of help with. So
I love that fun name too. Bardic College Dropout is fantastic.
Thank you. It's yeah. If it seems like anytime I attach myself to a project or something goes wrong with it, like your stream's dropping out, and like I made the album and it released like a week and a half ago, and like the second I put it out, and like the title is a little like nod to Kanye's old music.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And no, I totally understand.
I think we are. Yes. Okay. Hello, guys. So, unfortunately, the internet connection is kind of wonky, but I just want to make sure that quickly before something like this happens again, that my wonderful guests, we'll have to have Matt back on when there isn't that type of connection issue. So that way, obviously, we can find out more. But you already gave us so much information about your amazing journey. So I appreciate you so much for being with us today. But please let everyone know where they can find you, and also to any work that you can share that you have coming up that people can check out. And thank you guys so much for staying in chat for as long as you guys did, and bearing with us with the technical difficulties as well.
Yeah. So next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy the internet. And see if we can fix this.
Yes.
I'm Matt, Dungeon Glitch on Twitter, while that still exists. The thing that I work on the most right now that I'm most proud of is my newest lo-fi album. So if you want to help me out, go pick out a track from the Bardic College Dropout and add it to your favorite Spotify mix, or really any mix that you listen to, because it's available everywhere. This way, I don't know, it gets plays and you get to hear it. So hopefully it makes people happy, because that's what I'm told it does. So.
Yes. And please be sure, I have all the information for Matt that I just added to the chat. So be sure to follow him on all the social medias and check out his amazing work. We're going to wrap up today's episode just because we want to avoid any other further little glitches. But I want to thank you guys again. Just a reminder, we do have GM Raven's awesome Cyberpunk High Riders game tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time, so definitely be sure to tune in. Also, too, we have some awesome casting calls that are posted in our Discord, so be sure to check those out. One for our amazing Coyote and Crow, who Logan in our chat is the story guide for, and also to a new Cyberpunk Red campaign that's going to be coming to our channel soon, that Stink Palm, who was also in chat earlier, is running. So definitely you want to join us there, join our awesome community, and check us out there. And I had such a fun time despite all the all the crazy technical issues that we had, chatting and just getting to know you even better. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the chat. Even if it was broken up into pieces, you guys still enjoyed the pieces that you watched. We will try to make sure that we edit it all together for the YouTube. So thank you again. And also, too, happy Native American Heritage Month, everyone. Enjoy, and please continue supporting amazing creators like Matt Joro here, who's with us. Thank you, guys. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Cybernation Uncensored.